Introducing speakers always bugs me because you pick people because of who they are, and then you stand up here to introduce them and talk about what they do. You read their resume aloud. He went to this college, and he did this, and he did that. That's like reading out the recipe, but then not actually baking the cookies and eating them. So we're not going to do that with John. I mean, I could tell you about his background. I could tell you that at the age of 14, he was teaching music lessons at Fort Bragg. I could tell you that he attended Western Carolina, that he founded the Wild River Band, he was the chairman of the Orff Music Program, and that he taught guitar at CP and Community School of the Arts for nearly 20 years. But none of that scratches the surface of who he is. There were a few words on his website that in my mind say it all. For the love of music. For the love of music. That is what John Tosco is all about. And that's why he's here. You know, before I knew John, I knew his name. Growing up in Charlotte, being a young adult and listening to the kind of constant drone of there's nothing that goes on here in the 90s, I did know the name Tosco. I knew about the Tosco music parties. I knew that somebody was keeping the pilot light on, that they were championing creativity and music and love and vibrancy, that they were part of this crazy band of people in Charlotte that said, banks are nice and awesome. Banks are nice and awesome. But there's more to Charlotte than that. When you look at his website and you hear and read about what he's done, their mission statement says something that's just so perfect for today. That they exist to foster a sense of community among listeners and performers, community, and connect professional and amateur musicians to share and inspire one another, and there's the word, inspire. And that's what John Tosco does. And that's why I am proud to invite him to the stage to share with us his thoughts on his life and his work on today, the global theme of Muse. John, you honor us by being here. The stage, my friend, is yours.
Good morning, everyone. I have some friends with me I want to introduce you to. Eric Lovell, Craig Malls, Jason Hackner, Phyllis Fulton, Miranda Rieger, and Matt Carter, my brothers and sisters. So, yeah, I'm a guitar teacher, and I'm the founder and executive director of Tosco Music. We're a nonprofit. It produces a variety music concert series called Tosco Music Parties, also known as TMPs. So, a TMP is an eclectic and wonderful evening of music of about 15 different acts. And it's a true celebration of all styles of music with performers of all ages, and we do sing-alongs with the audience. The first time that I got really excited about music was when I was watching the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show with my family. I was only 5 years old, but it still had a huge impact on me. Then I started taking guitar lessons. I had a great teacher. His name was Dave Brumble. And he taught me a lot of different styles of music. He was my first real muse. Playing guitar became a central part of my life very early on. When I was 11, I had a 500-pound bale of cotton fall on my hand. It broke every bone in my left hand. The doctors said that there was very little chance I would have full use of my hand again. And it took more than a year of physical therapy, but I did fully recover. My motivation about playing guitar and my efforts to keep practicing made all the difference in regaining the use of my hand. After graduating high school in Fayetteville, where I grew up, I went I went to college at Berklee College of Music in Boston. It was a college friend who encouraged me to jump into the music scene in Denver, Colorado. And that's where I became a full-time working musician in a country rock band called Wild River. We were wild. We were really wild. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It was a great experience. We had some good gigs. We got a performance at the Grand Ole Opry. But we were on the road half the time, and mostly playing bars, often playing the same songs every night to keep people on the dance floor. So it kind of became just a job. It was great to be working as a musician full-time, but it was losing the fun. So after 3 years in the band, my first son was born. I knew that I wasn't going to be successful with a family if I stayed in the band. So we moved to Charlotte. Like many of you, I was a transplant to Charlotte. After living in Boston and Denver, I knew I didn't want to move back to Fayetteville. Charlotte was a good balance and close enough to family. We moved here in 1983. I was 25 years old. Moving to Charlotte was a reinvention for me. I became a full-time music teacher and realized I had a real passion for it. But I miss playing music for fun with friends. So I started inviting my musician friends to my house. And everyone was welcome, their friends, spouses, their kids. Musicians of all styles would come, rock and rollers, bluegrass pickers, jazz players, and I loved all of it. Folks would spread the word, John Tosca's having another music party. And that's how Tosca music parties began. The earliest music parties were monthly gatherings in our living rooms, or when the weather was nice, outside in our backyards. We had a dozen people at first, and then there were 30, and then it just kept growing. Just casual jam sessions and song circles. By 1989, we started putting together songbooks so everyone could sing along. Musicians who came would play together and learn songs from each other. Maybe pick up a new riff here and there. Matt, give us a beat. Our living room music parties went on for years at our homes, and then apartment clubhouses with more room. Charlotte was growing, and so was my family. By the early 1990s, I was a full-time guitar teacher with 3 kids at elementary school. And as the music parties continued to grow in size, it was clear that homes were not big enough anymore. Thus began our journey of growing to larger venues. There were a few main changes early on. We started using microphones. We scheduled the acts ahead of time and began printing programs. And we started to rent venues, which meant taking donations to cover the costs. Once we started selling tickets, we decided it was time to incorporate as a nonprofit. I still remember our first formal concert in 1998 at a VFW building. More than 100 people came. Other than the audience size, it was pretty much like the TMPs are today. We officially became a 501c3 nonprofit in 1999 when TMPs were at Great Aunt Stella Center. Our trajectory over the next 20 years took us to many different stages, from that VFW building to Great Aunt Stella Center, the neighborhood theater, to McGlowan Theater at Spirit Square, and to Halton Theater at CPCC. At each change to a larger venue, people worried we would lose the magic of the smaller gatherings. So some of the people really missed the nights when anyone showed up could play. So we started a monthly open mic night where anyone who showed up could play. We did it at the Evening Muse when it opened in 2001. We've been there every month since. Pretty cool. Now, unlike other open mics, we start them off with sing-alongs. And it's very family-friendly, a place where kids and adults alike can have their first performance on a professional stage. Even after adding the open mic, we still face the challenge of how to keep what made the music parties special. And for us, that was the music diversity, the participation and sense of community. We always had the audience introduce themselves to each other, and we still do that. We kept the variety of music styles and included amateurs as well as professionals. The TMPs are never about any one performer. Nobody ever does more than 2 songs. We kept the sing-alongs, which are a hallmark of the TMPs. I may have started the music parties so I could play music for fun, but now the music parties are a source of inspiration for me. I discovered I found a lot of joy in producing and bringing together a variety of performers. I enjoy my role as leader of the house band and when we create a song arrangement to back other performers. Working together like this, it brings us together, and it makes the music parties become something bigger than all of us. And for me, building community through music was the way Teaching guitar is my other passion. I love helping my students pursue their own joy with music. I feel most creative when I'm in lessons and figuring out what method works best for a particular student. I've taught well over 1,000 students of all ages in my 36 years in Charlotte. Probably the students I influenced the most were my own 3 kids. They grew up around the music parties, and they decided in high school to form a pop rock band called Just in Case. They performed often at the TMPs, and they ended up being signed to Warner Brothers Records. They toured and had a little taste of the big time for a while, and in turn, they had a big impact on teenagers throughout Charlotte and all around the country. In addition to the music parties and monthly open mic, Tosca Music also provides music scholarships, senior sing-alongs at nursing homes, live music at family-friendly events, and performance opportunities for local talent. This year, we expanded our annual Beatles tribute into a full weekend festival called Fab Fest, with guest speakers, films, tribute bands, and activities all celebrating the music of the Beatles. For me, this was a long-time dream come true, having been inspired to a life of music by the Beatles so many years ago as a kid. Next June at Fab Fest, we will celebrate our 100th Tosco Music Party. For the past 6 years, our home has been night theater with 1,200 seats. TMPs have showcased over 1,000 performers over the last 3 decades and introduced tens of thousands of audience members to new music. Even now, TMPs are still like the living room, a place where everyone can feel at home. Charlotte is our home, and by our, I mean all of us. Everyone in this room, no matter when we got here or where we came from, we're here now. By indulging and enjoying our passions, we can impact the community around us and inspire others. Every one of you has an opportunity to help shape this city by following your own muse. What's your greatest joy? Who shares your particular creative passion? There's power in gathering with people who share our joy and passion, like we do here at Creative Mornings, and like music lovers experience at Tosco Music Parties. For Tosco Music, and I believe for Charlotte and our music community, the future is bright. Please stand up and sing along with us.
John Tosco, everybody! John Tosco!